This is not just a story. This is a journey. The journey of a 5-year-old girl named Anna, running with no shoes, no home, and no one to protect her, only pain in her heart and hope in her eyes. She was blamed for something she didn't do, chased by a stepmother who hated the sound of her laughter, and marked for a punishment meant for someone else's mistake. But what Pamela never knew was that the same little girl she chased into the street was about to begin the most shocking, painful, and powerful 100-day journey of her life. A journey filled with tears, betrayal, hunger, unexpected love, and a secret. A secret that would shake everything and everyone. Stay with us, besties, because the journey starts now. And you won't believe how it ends. The full story begins now. It started in the kitchen, quiet at first. Anna stood on a tiny stool, trying to rinse her cup by herself, because no one would do it for her. She loved pretending to be grown up. Her small fingers held the cup tightly as she focused on the water tap, humming a song she heard from TV. Pamela stood nearby, angrily scrubbing her phone screen with a rag. She had just seen a post from her friend bragging about a new house, and her blood was boiling. Nonsense. Is it not a man she used to get it? Shameless goat, Pamela muttered, distracted and angry. Then it happened. She reached for a plate from the rack without looking, her favorite one. White with gold edges. Imported. The only one she didn't allow anyone to touch. But as she pulled it out carelessly with one hand and scrolled her phone with the other, the wet rag in her hand slipped, and so did the plate. Crash! The sound was loud, shocking. The plate shattered into tiny pieces on the floor like broken glass dreams. There was silence. Even Anna froze, holding her cup midair. Pamela stared at the floor for a second, then turned sharply toward Anna, her eyes flaming with fury. You broke my plate, she shouted, pointing her finger like a sword. Anna blinked in confusion. No, I didn't touch it, she whispered. Pamela stomped forward. So it flew and broke itself? Or maybe your spirit knocked it down? You are your mother's child. Destruction runs in your blood. Anna's lips trembled. I didn't even move. Pamela picked up a sharp piece of the broken plate, her face twisted with rage. You think I'm a fool? That plate cost more than your entire life. You want to destroy me like your mother tried to, and today I'll return the favor. Come here. And just like that, she charged. Anna dropped her cup and ran, tears already filling her eyes. The truth was obvious. Everyone would see it. Pamela broke the plate herself, but her pride wouldn't let her say the truth. Her anger needed a victim, and Anna was the easiest target. Please, Mom! Please, Mom! Little Anna screamed, her tiny legs carrying her through the narrow corridor of the house as fast as they could. Tears ran down her cheeks, mixing with the dust from the floor. She wasn't crying because she was stubborn. She was crying because she was scared. Terrified. Behind her, storming like a mad woman, was Pamela, her stepmother, holding the sharp edge of a broken plate in her hand, shouting like a wild lioness. I will draw your late mother's tribal marks on your face today. You hear me? You break my plate, my precious golden plate, and you think you'll run away with those innocent eyes? Not today, Anna. Not today. Pamela's voice echoed like thunder in the house. Her wrapper was loose, her hair flying in all directions, and she looked like someone possessed. Anna's heart pounded so loud she could almost hear it in her ears. The broken plate was still lying on the kitchen floor, shattered into pieces, just like her courage. It didn't touch it, Anna tried to shout back between sobs. I didn't touch it. But Pamela wasn't hearing anything. Her lips curled into a wicked smile as she ran barefoot across the tiles. Oh, you didn't? Pamela mocked, laughing sarcastically. Anna, you've come to this house to finish what your mother started, right? You want to ruin me too. Anna turned sharply into the living room, knocking over a stool in her panic. Run, little rat! Run! But know this. When I catch you, your cheeks will carry stories. Tribal stories. Pamela growled. Anna's legs were weak, but fear gave her wings. She darted into the old storeroom, pushing the door halfway shut. She hid behind a sack of rice, holding her breath like a mouse hiding from a cat. Pamela burst into the room seconds later, eyes wide with rage. "You think you can hide from me in my own house? Is this hide and seek or war? Come out now before I decorate your face with history." Suddenly, the broken plate slipped from Pamela's hand and cut her palm. She screamed, dropping to the floor, cursing loudly. Anna peeked from her hiding place, shaking, her small hand covering her mouth. Then came the unexpected. A big cockroach climbed Anna's head. Then she let out a noise, and that was when the tribal mark race continued, and finally she ran out through the open gate onto the street. Behind her, Pamela kept coming, still holding the sharp, broken plate like a weapon of war. "You will not escape me, Anna. I said today, you will wear your mother's tribal shame," she screamed. Neighbors peeked through their windows. Some even came outside, but no one dared stop Pamela. They knew her mouth was like pepper, and today it seemed her hand was fire. "Run, you witch! Even your legs like your mother's useless legs!" Pamela yelled, panting but still running. Anna kept running, barefoot, her tiny white dress flying behind her like a torn flag. Her breath was heavy, her chest tight, but she didn't stop. Not for a second. Fear pushed her forward. Cars honked. A man on a bike nearly hit her. She didn't care. She ran past shops, houses, barking dogs, curious eyes. She ran past everything familiar. And still, Pamela chased her. But then, finally, Pamela slowed down. She stopped, bent over. Breathing like a woman who had just wrestled a lion, she looked around. Anna was gone. Just like that. Gone. "Where did that witch go?" Pamela shouted, spinning around in frustration. "You break my plate and now you vanish like smoke? Don't worry. You'll come back. You always do. And when you do, your cheeks will wear the truth." She hissed and stormed back home, not knowing she had just lost Anna in more ways than one. Anna, miles away now, was still running, heart racing, feet bleeding, tears dry. The only home she ever knew had just rejected her bear. She didn't know where to go, so she kept walking. From street to street, corner to corner, turning left when the road said right, and right when her legs had no strength. Her tiny feet were cracked and dusty, her lips dry like forgotten bread. Her tummy growled like a hungry lion, but nobody cared. Nobody even asked if she was okay. They just walked past her like she was air, or worse, like trash. At one point, a man even said, "Where is this one crawling from? Zombie child?" And just like that, she kept walking, too tired to cry, too weak to talk. That night, her first night alone, she curled up beside a gutter. Yes, an actual roadside gutter. No bed, no blanket. Her arm became her pillow, and the sky was her roof. A cold breeze slapped her like life itself was angry with her. She tried to close her eyes, but the pain in her belly was louder than her thoughts. That kind of hunger that burns like fire, but nothing is cooking. Then she saw it. A small, dirty, forgotten bag lying in the corner. She picked it up. It was empty. She placed a stone inside it and hugged it tight. "At least I'm not alone," she whispered to the stone. Her only friend. Meanwhile, back home, Pamela sat with her legs crossed, twisting her face as usual. She looked at the wall clock, then the door, then sighed like she was being disturbed by peace. Still not back. Maybe she finally followed her mother into the land of disgrace, she said with a smirk. Then she shrugged. If she decides not to come back, I think my life will finally have peace. After all, bad luck has legs, and now it's walking far away. She stood up, ate 2 pieces of chicken, and slept like a queen. No guilt, no worry, as if she had only misplaced a spoon, not a child. But Anna was still out there. By the 3rd day, hunger was now part of her blood. She sat beside a dustbin, waiting, not for help, but for trash. A man passed by with bread in his hand, took a bite, then flung the rest into the trash like it insulted him. Anna didn't think twice. She rushed there, brushed off the dirt, and ate it like it was gold. Because hunger doesn't ask for pride. Hunger just wants food. By the seventh day, her once clean dress was now the color of shame. Dust, sweat, and street stains had baptized her like a forgotten rag. People no longer looked at her with pity. They looked at her with disgust. Children pointed, "Look, the dirty ghost girl." Some even threw stones. Adults hissed loudly, "Go and find your people, dirty spirit. Stop bringing flies here." She didn't blame them. They couldn't see the pain behind her dirt. Only one person knew the truth: Pamela. But Pamela had washed her hands like Pontius Pilate. On the eighth day, she woke up under a broken wooden kiosk, her body covered in mosquito bites. Her lips were swollen from heat, and her hair was tangled like weeds. A woman selling tomatoes passed by and muttered, "Children of the street, they just appear like ghosts." Anna didn't reply. She had forgotten how to talk to people. Before moving, she bent down, picked a small stone from the ground, and dropped it inside the dirty bag she had been carrying since the first night. She zipped it quietly and moved on. No questions, no answers, just pain and purpose. On the 15th day, she followed the scent of food to a roadside buka. She stood far from the door, just breathing in the smell like it was enough to fill her belly. A man noticed her and hissed loudly, "Disappear right now, before I use you to clean this gutter." She didn't wait for a second warning. As she ran, her stomach growled like thunder. She passed by a woman roasting corn. One fell to the ground and rolled near Anna's leg. She grabbed it, ran, and chewed it like it was the last meal on earth. No salt, no butter, just survival. Whenever it's cloudy, Anna would pray, "Please God, no rain." But her 21st day on the street was memorable. It rained all night, and Anna? She sat under a broken table, shivering like a chicken soaked in cold water. She had no sweater, no roof. Her teeth chattered, and her fingers were stiff. By morning, she sneezed nonstop and coughed like her lungs were tired of staying inside. But nobody offered help, because in their eyes, she was just another dirty street child, nothing more. On the 30th day, she was walking by the side of a rough road, trying to avoid angry drivers and tired eyes. Then, bam! Her leg hit a sharp stone. She screamed and fell. Blood started to drip from her tiny foot. She looked around. No clinic. No first aid. Nothing. She sobbed, not because of the pain, but because she didn't even have the right to cry anymore. After a while, she stood up, limped to the nearest wall, tore a piece of her already torn dress, and tied the wound herself. Then, like a habit, she picked another stone and placed it in her bag. She kept walking, limping, but her eyes were set on one direction, the airport. Why? We'll find out later, but not today. Anna did break her rules on day 55. She tried to beg for money. One woman stopped and gave her N100. Anna smiled, first time in days. She took it and rushed to a small food stand. But before she could reach, a boy snatched the money from her and ran. She fell to her knees. It wasn't just about the money. It was about the fact that life didn't even want her to have hope. Still, she stood, she moved, she picked another stone, and kept going. Day 59 was a day to remember for Anna because she ate a meal with no name. It was late evening. Anna sat under a tree beside a restaurant, inhaling the smell of jollof rice she couldn't afford. Then came a soft voice. "Do you want some food?" She looked up. A middle-aged woman in a bright blue dress stood holding a nylon bag. Anna blinked. The woman smiled and handed it to her. Inside, one wrap of rice, a boiled egg, and a pure water sachet. A full meal, a miracle. Anna didn't say thank you with words. Her eyes did the talking. She sat by the roadside and ate slowly, like someone eating treasure. Before leaving, she found another stone near the curb. She added it to the bag. Day 63 is extraordinarily hot. The sun was not kind to Anna that day. Anna's legs were bare. Her dress was now multicolors, original and dirt. Her feet were cracked, bruised, and naked. She walked past a supermarket where a girl stood in a sparkling white dress, holding her mom's shopping bag. The girl saw Anna limping and frowned. Then she turned to her mum and whispered something. The woman nodded. The girl walked up to Anna, holding out a plastic bag. Inside, a pair of pink sandals. I don't wear this anymore. It's still fine, she said. Anna stared at her like she was a dream, then took the sandals slowly and hugged them. She didn't even know if they'd fit, but they did. Perfectly. That evening, she found a smooth white stone shaped like a heart. It went into the bag like all the others. Far away, back home. On day 70. The sun had barely risen when Pamela stood outside Anna's small room, arms folded, lips twisted in a smirk that barely hid her satisfaction. She had on one of her tight wrappers and an oversized t-shirt that read, "God is good," a shirt she wore every time she felt victorious. And today? Oh, she felt very victorious. A friend of hers, who was her neighbor, walked in and glanced toward the now empty corner where Anna used to sleep. She still hasn't returned? The woman asked, lowering her voice like Anna might appear from the shadows. Pamela scoffed and tossed her head like a peacock. Return to what? She replied, voice thick with sarcasm. Even if that stubborn goat dares to crawl back, there's nothing left for her in this house. She turned toward the neighbor, her eyes gleaming like someone who had just won a silent war. I burnt every rag she owned last night. Yes, burnt. All of them. Her skirts, tops, even those oversized church shoes she loved. Rubbish. The neighbor blinked in surprise. Pamela laughed bitterly and fanned herself with one hand. That child was a walking headache. No manners, no thank you, no respect. Just carrying face like the world offended her. Who knows where she ran to? Maybe following one useless boy around. She stepped closer to the burnt spot by the wall. Though the fire was long gone, the smell of charred clothes still hung stubbornly in the air, like a bad memory refusing to die. Ashes of fabric clung to the corners like the last whispers of a childhood erased. Pamela didn't flinch, didn't sigh, didn't feel guilt. Not even a flicker. To her, Anna wasn't a missing child. She was a problem that got tired and disappeared. And now, Pamela was finally free. I sleep well these days, she muttered with a grin. No ghost tiptoeing around my kitchen. No long face passing my corridor like I'm the enemy. Let her go. Let her suffer. Life will teach her what I couldn't. She turned back inside, humming an old gospel song off-key as if heaven itself approved of her wickedness. Back in the corner, the burnt air still whispered Anna's name. But Pamela? Pamela never heard it. She was too busy celebrating her peace. Meanwhile, Anna seated in a corner beside a mango tree on a busy road sobbing. Anna smiled brightly on day 80 with her full teeth out when she saw airport signs, buses with International Terminal painted in blue. Flight paths above her head. People might think she was lost, but no, Anna knew exactly where she was going. Every step closer brought a strange mix of hope and fear. Airport ahead, but not yet. The closer Anna got to the city's edge, the clearer the signs became. Why the airport? She didn't say, but each day she walked and picked a stone. Anna did the unthinkable on day 84. She saw a baby cry in front of a shop. The mother was distracted, shouting at a phone. A banana dropped from the baby's hand. Anna stared. She waited. No one noticed. She walked over, picked the banana, and stared at it. She hadn't tasted fruit in over a month, but instead of eating it, she gave it back to the baby. The baby smiled. Anna smiled too. Then she turned, picked a small round stone beside a pothole, and continued walking. Day 85 was Anna's dreadful day. The street was colder that night, and Anna had walked half the day under the sun, dragging her tired legs from one corner of the city to another. Her lips were dry. Her feet were bare. Her spirit hanging by a thread. She saw a tiny shop, closed for the day, dusty wooden shutters pulled halfway down. The small space between the wall and a pile of crates looked just big enough for her tiny body. Just a little rest, she whispered to herself, hugging her dirty bag like it was her mother's arms. She curled up, head resting on her elbow, knees pressed tightly to her chest. That's when the blinding torchlight hit her face. "Hey, who's there?" She jumped up, her heartbeat racing. Two uniformed policemen marched toward her. One of them held a big flashlight like it was a weapon, shining it directly in her eyes. Anna blinked rapidly, trying to sit up straight. Her voice trembled. "I'm sorry. I'm just resting. I'm going to the airport." For a second, the officer paused. He squinted, maybe to see her better, or maybe trying to process what he'd just heard. "Airport?" he said, raising a brow. "To do what? Board a private jet?" The other officer chuckled behind him. The first one scoffed loudly, waved his hand dramatically like he was swatting a fly, and barked. "Really? With what wings, Madam Butterfly? Go on, fly away now." He laughed hard, nudged his colleague, and turned to leave. Anna didn't laugh. She didn't cry either. She just watched them disappear into the night. Two men with power, uniforms, and clean boots who couldn't see a small girl in need. The street fell silent again, except for the dogs barking in the distance, except for her stomach growling quietly, except for the memory of the word rat. Anna didn't try to sleep anymore. She sat still for a moment, then reached into the corner, picked up a small, sharp-edged stone, and dropped it into her bag without a word. She didn't explain it to herself. She didn't think twice. It had become her way of surviving. One stone, one step, one day closer. And with that, she stood, dusted her torn gown, and walked on into the night, toward the airport, still carrying pain, still carrying hope, still carrying her secret. Day 90 on the street came with a strange kind of silence. Not the peaceful type. No. The kind that made Anna feel like something big was about to happen, but she didn't know if it would be a blessing or another slap from life. She hadn't eaten for 2 days again. Her body was now used to the hunger, but what her body could never get used to was the smell of hot fried yam from roadside vendors. That morning, as she dragged her feet past a busy roundabout, a bus splashed her with brown, oily gutter water. No one said sorry. In fact, one man even chuckled, "Ah, free shower." Anna didn't reply. She just wiped her face with her already dirty hand and walked on like nothing happened. But deep inside, her spirit groaned. She stopped under a tree to rest her back. That's when she saw it. Far ahead, beyond the traffic, beyond the rooftops, stood the airport fence. High, silver, proud, like it was laughing at her dusty feet. She squinted. Airplanes flew above her, like rich people's birds. She chuckled bitterly and said to herself, "See life. Me, I'm walking like tortoise. Them, they're flying like angels." Her right foot was swollen. The sandals the rich girl gave her were now wearing out. She limped with every step, but refused to stop. At some point, a car full of rich kids slowed beside her. One of them rolled down the window, pointed at her, and said, "Mummy, look, that girl looks like she escaped from cartoon prison." The mother laughed. The driver drove off. Anna didn't cry. She just looked down, found a tiny jagged stone, and placed it gently inside her bag. The bag was heavier now, not from clothes or money, but from secrets the world didn't understand. Then something happened. Right in front of her, a woman slipped and dropped a tray of oranges. Anna rushed to help her pick them up. Not because she wanted a reward, but because she still had kindness, buried somewhere inside her tired heart. The woman looked at her and said, "You? You're not mad?" Anna smiled faintly. "Not yet." The woman laughed, then handed her one orange. One orange. To someone else, it was just a fruit. But to Anna, it was like someone handed her sunlight. She sucked on it slowly, juice running down her lips. Then she looked back at the airport. Closer now. The fence no longer felt like a wall. It felt like a gate. And behind it, something waited. Something she hadn't told anybody. Not even the stone-filled bag hanging by her side. She sat on a broken bench, stretched her legs, and whispered, "If I survive this journey, I swear the world won't believe who I really am." This was Anna on day 92 of the street. And the worst part, her reflection scared her. Anna saw a puddle after a long walk under the sun. She bent over it, just to splash some water on her face. But what she saw made her freeze. Her face. Was that really her? Her cheeks had sunk in. Her lips looked cracked like dried clay. Her eyes, they didn't sparkle like they used to. They just stared back at her, hollow and tired. She touched her face gently, as if she was seeing a ghost. "This can't be me," she whispered. But it was. The puddle dried before she could even wash her face. She stood slowly, picked another stone, dropped it in the bag, and kept going. Day 95. She was walking near a car park, dragging her tired feet behind her, when she heard it. "Anna?" She froze. Her heart jumped. Someone called her name. Her name. She hadn't heard it in weeks, maybe months. Not since she left home. Not since she became that girl people avoided. She turned around slowly, eyes wide, lips trembling. "Yes?" she said, her voice barely louder than a whisper. She took a step forward, hope bubbling inside her like a forgotten memory. A woman was standing beside a black SUV, calling out again. "Anna!" Anna walked faster now, almost running. "I'm here," she said, chest rising fast, eyes already welling up. But just as she reached the car, the woman looked her way, and her face changed instantly. Disgust. Like someone had just spat in her face. The woman grabbed the little girl beside her and hissed, "No, no! I wasn't calling you!" Anna froze mid-step. The little girl peeked from behind her mother's leg, holding a juice box and a chocolate bar. The woman pulled her closer and snapped at Anna. "My daughter's name is Anna! You think we're mates? In? Look at yourself. How dare you answer my child's name?" She rolled her eyes and muttered under her breath, "Useless girl. Sharing the same name with my child. God forbid." She wiped her daughter's hand as if Anna's breath had contaminated the air. The little girl glanced up at Anna and blinked. She didn't look disgusted, just confused. But the mother? She was already ushering her child into the car like they had just escaped danger. They drove off, leaving Anna behind, still standing there, still blinking, still pretending it didn't hurt. She smiled, a sarcastic, broken kind of smile. "Sorry, I didn't know I wasn't allowed to have a name anymore." She turned slowly, bent down, picked another stone, and dropped it in her bag. The bag of survival, the bag of scars, the bag of quiet revenge. And with that, she kept walking. Anna's day 99 on the street. She didn't eat, she didn't speak, she just walked. Her eyes were dry, not because the pain had stopped, no, it hadn't, but because she had run out of tears days ago, maybe weeks. With every slow step she took, her little bag clanked softly, a sound only she understood, a sound the world ignored. The city around her was loud and fast, cars honking, people shouting, music playing. But Anna? She moved like a shadow, present but invisible. She passed children laughing, past lovers holding hands, past a street preacher shouting about destiny. But her own destiny? It was quiet, heavy, hidden in that bag. And in her silence, her skin was dry. Her clothes clung to her like shame. Her hair told stories no one asked to hear. Still, she walked. Because tomorrow was the tomorrow. Tomorrow, she'd be there. At the place her heart had been dragging her toward all along. The airport. She walked past a row of shops, and an old woman sitting on a wooden stool caught sight of her. The woman squinted, then frowned, then said what so many others had whispered behind her back. "What do you want, and where are you going?" Anna stopped, then smiled. It was a soft smile, almost sarcastic, the kind you wear when the world has called you mad too many times to care anymore. "I'm going to the airport," she said calmly. The old woman blinked twice, like her ears had betrayed her. "En? Airport? You want go carry plane?" She shook her head like Anna was a lost soul. "To do what?" the woman asked, curiosity mixed with concern, or maybe confusion. Anna looked her dead in the eye. "I won't tell anyone until tomorrow." The old woman stared at her for a long moment, then smirked. "You don't mad finish? You see how you dey smell? You think say dem go allow you enter there? You we resemble abandoned rag?" Anna's smile faded a little, but she still stood straight. "What if I beg them?" she asked quietly. The woman let out a long, dry laugh. That type of laugh old women give when they think you're joking with life. "Dem no go even let you reach gate. Go bathe. Go change cloth. Go resemble human being first." Anna's knees buckled. She dropped down in front of the woman. Please, Mama, give me cloth, anything. Just give me something to wear. The woman stared at her, this time not with pity, with irritation. She hissed, stood up slowly, and reached behind her stool. Anna's heart lifted. Maybe she had agreed. But then she pulled out a long cane. Leave here at once, airport girl, before I flog you madness back into your skull. Anna jumped up immediately, stepped back, hands raised. She didn't cry, didn't beg again. She just gave a broken chuckle, wiped her face with her wrist, and muttered, "Even madness they fear Cain." The old woman hissed again. Anna turned, still barefoot, still dirty, still hungry. But she kept walking, because tomorrow was the day. And somehow, she still believed. The day she reached the airport gate was the 100 days. She made it. After all the hunger, all the walking, all the people who called her mad, all the stones in her bag, she finally stood in front of the airport gate. Her heart raced like a drum in a festival. This was it, her dream, her finish line, her tomorrow. She walked closer. But before she could even speak, 2 security men stepped in front of her. One of them looked her up and down, then frowned like she had just dragged in mud with her bare feet. "You? Who are you looking for?" Anna smiled. A small, tired smile. "I want to go in. I'm ready now." The second man let out a laugh so dry it sounded like dust. "Ready for where? You think say na market? You know they see yourself? You want enter like this?" Anna's smile dropped. Her lips quivered. "Please, I've come a long way. I have to go in." But they were already shaking their heads. "Go back. You dey smell. Go clean yourself. This place no be for street people." She tried to plead. She cried. She begged with everything in her soul. But all she got was a loud hiss and a shove away from the gate. When she didn't move, they brought out sticks. Not to beat her. No, not yet. Just to scare her. And it worked. She ran, but not far. Just to a corner near a small wall, a little bit away from the main entrance. There, she sat, with her bag of stones, with her dream still burning in her chest, and tears flowing like a leaking pipe. She stayed there for hours, watching, waiting, hoping the gate would open itself. People passed, some stared, some whispered. Poor girl. Who let this one come here? She must be mad. But she stayed, still, silent, until a man walked by and slowed down. He looked at her, then looked again. He walked closer, confused. "Hey, are you okay?" Anna didn't even raise her head. "I just want to go in," she whispered. "In where?" She pointed. "The airport." The man blinked. "Seriously? Like this?" Anna nodded slowly, wiping her face. "They said I'm too dirty, that I can't go in like this." Something about the way she spoke, so gentle, so sure, so broken. It made the man pause. Then, without asking too many questions, he said, "Come, let's clean you up first." He took her to a nearby hotel, paid for a room, told the woman at the front desk to help her with everything. Soap, towel, fresh clothes, new shoe wads. And when Anna finally came out, even the receptionist gasped. Her skin was glowing under the bathroom lights. Her hair, now brushed and neat, looked soft. She wore a simple dress and flat shoes the woman had bought her. But what shocked everyone most, she was still holding the same bag, tightly, like it held her life inside it. The man looked at her and smiled. "Much better." She smiled back. Late that afternoon, the man said, "All right, let's go. I'll help you get in." Anna's heart pounded. They walked side by side toward the airport, the same gate that had rejected her in the morning. But now, guards stared in confusion. "Nah, that girl be this? She no be the same one?" They couldn't believe it. She didn't even look like the same person. But she still held her bag like it was her baby. Just when the man signaled her to step forward with him, Anna suddenly pulled away. She turned. Then she ran. Fast. Past the man, past the guards, straight toward a beggar sitting by a wall across the street. Everyone froze. Even the man stood in shock. What is she doing? The crowd watched as she bent down, dropped her bag beside the beggar, and whispered something. Then she hugged the beggar, tightly, and didn't let go. Mouths opened, eyes widened. The man took a step forward. "Anna?" But she didn't answer. The beggar rubbed his eyes gently. His hands trembled as he slowly pulled away from Anna's hug. But he didn't say a word, just stared, like someone seeing a ghost. Anna turned to the man. "This is my dad," she said, holding her chest like it might explode. The man stepped closer, confused. He looked at the beggar, then at her. Your dad? He asked, half whispering. You mean this beggar? He glanced again at the man sitting barefoot in rags, with dry lips and wild eyes. Anna shook her head, not to argue, just to breathe. Then she nodded slowly. He's not a beggar. He's fine. She turned back, crouched again in front of the man on the ground, and placed her palm on his chest. Dad, it's me. Anna. You're Anna. Tell him you're fine. Please, talk. The man blinked slowly. His lips moved, but no sound came. The man in sunglasses sighed. Anna, be honest with me. This man, he hasn't said a word since we got here, and you're calling him your father? Okay, he continued. Then tell me, what do you know about your dad? Anna stood up like a soldier. 11 months and 3 days ago, she began, her voice steady like a drumbeat. My dad and my mom traveled, but they didn't come back. The man tilted his head, listening. My stepmother, she always said the airport swallowed her enemies. She laughed like it was a joke, but I knew. She meant my parents. She said it every single time I cried or asked questions. So I decided I will come to the airport. I will wait for it to give them back. That's why I came here. The man stared at her, stunned. But Anna wasn't finished. My father's name is Benedict Thompson. That name, as soon as it hit the air, the beggar on the ground suddenly gripped his head with both hands. My head! He screamed. My head! Anna jumped back in fear. The man's mouth fell open. People gathered, stunned. The beggar rocked back and forth. His voice cracked. No, Benedict name. That name is mine. It's mine. Anna covered her mouth. Tears poured out of her eyes. Dad? The man knelt beside the beggar, trying to calm him. Sir, can you hear me? But the beggar was lost in a storm. They took her. They took my wife. She screamed. The airport. No, not the airport. Then suddenly he went silent, eyes wide, breathing hard, like something just snapped back in place. Everyone froze. The beggar slowly looked up at Anna, and for the first time, he smiled. Anna? He whispered. Anna's knees hit the floor. She sobbed as she crawled to him. Yes, it's me. It's Anna. The man watching them swallowed hard. This was not just a madman. This was a father. 4 days later, Benedict Thompson sat quietly on a hospital bed, wearing clean clothes, his face shaved, and his eyes clearer than they'd been in months. The doctors had confirmed it. He was perfectly fine. Trauma had locked him away. But now, he was back. The man who helped Anna arranged a quiet hotel room for Benedict. Stay here for a week, he said, handing him the keycard. Rest. Eat. Heal. It's on me. Benedict tried to speak, but his voice cracked with gratitude. Anna hugged the man, her voice soft. Thank you for giving me my dad back. Back at Pamela's house. 1 week later, the house was filled with music, balloons, perfumes, and fake smiles. Pamela, Anna's stepmother, was celebrating her birthday. Her friends surrounded her, laughing, toasting, dancing. Then the door creaked open. All heads turned. Pamela froze. Standing at the entrance was Anna, clothed, combed, clean, and beside her that same man who once took her to the hotel. Pamela's glass slipped and shattered on the floor, her face twisted. What in God's name are you doing here? She screamed. I thought you were dead. Anna didn't flinch. She smiled sweetly. No, I'm not dead. I just rose again, like bad news. The guests gasped. Don't worry, Anna added, stepping inside. I'm not here to beg. I'm here to show the world who you really are. Pamela's lips trembled. You're bluffing. You have nothing. Then the second door opened. Everyone turned, and out walked Benedict Thompson, alive, well, tall. Pamela staggered. Her makeup couldn't cover the terror on her face. Be Benedict, she stuttered. You're alive? Benedict stepped forward, slow and steady, eyes locked on her. Yes, Pamela, he said calmly, very much alive. And guess what? He turned to the guests, then back at her. Let's continue this conversation in court. Pamela screamed, courtroom. The courtroom was filled to the brim. People whispered. Cameras clicked. All eyes were on Pamela, once the generous madam of the neighborhood, now in handcuffs. She looked smaller, paler, like the guilt was eating her alive. Anna sat beside her father, Benedict Thompson, who was no longer the broken beggar outside the airport. Now he sat tall, clean, sharp, but with a storm in his eyes. The judge called his name. "Mr. Benedict Thompson, you may speak." He stood slowly. The courtroom fell silent. He didn't shout. He didn't cry. He just spoke with pain, power, and a calm voice that cut like a knife. Benedict's testimony. I lost 11 months of my life. He looked straight at Pamela. But now, I remember everything. He faced the court. Years ago, Pamela had a problem with her husband, and it was my wife, Anna's mother, who took her in. Yes, she gave her food, shelter, comfort, and even a room in our home. He scoffed. Big mistake. People shifted in their seats. She lived with us for 1 year, acting like a sister, eating from the same pot, laughing with my wife like they were best friends. But behind our backs, he pointed at her. She wanted to replace my wife with herself. Pamela was trembling. My wife overheard her on a phone call. Pamela was planning to marry me behind her back. Gasps. My wife confronted her. She begged, cried, said it was a mistake. My wife forgave her. A good woman. He paused, his jaw clenched. But good women attract evil friends. Benedict took a breath. His voice dropped lower. One day, after a short trip, she came to pick us up from the airport, me and my wife. She offered us drinks in the car. Something was wrong. My wife said she was dizzy. Then everything went black. His fists clenched at his sides. When I woke up, I wasn't home. I was in a bush, in a strange village. My wife was gone. They told me she died. He paused, staring into nothing. I couldn't remember my name, my home, my child, nothing. I wandered the streets like a madman, like a ghost. He looked back at Pamela. But the truth doesn't die, even if you bury it in a village and pour sand over it. Pamela broke into tears. I didn't mean to kill her. I just wanted you, Benedict, she screamed. He laughed bitterly. Wanted me? So you erased my wife, turned my daughter into a beggar, made me a lunatic in rags? He turned to the judge. Your Honor, this woman destroyed my family. She planned it, executed it, lied to the world, while she wore lace and gold to cover up murder. The courtroom froze. Pamela dropped to her knees. Please, forgive me. It was the devil, she cried. Anna looked away, disgusted. The judge raised the gavel slowly and said, Before we proceed to judgment, let Anna Thompson come forward and speak. There was a murmur in the room. Anna stood up, small, yet full of quiet strength, and walked toward the witness box. She held a dusty little bag in her hand. The judge looked at her gently. Speak, my dear. Tell the court your truth. Anna looked around the court. Her voice was calm, clear, honest. Pamela always told me that the airport swallowed my parents. Every time I asked about them, she said the airport had eaten them like food. The courtroom fell silent. So, the day she scared me out of the house, I decided to go to the airport and look for the place that swallowed my mom and dad. She held up her small bag. It wasn't easy. I walked, begged, cried. I got tired. I got hungry. But every day I picked one stone and put it inside this bag. She opened the bag slowly. The stones made a soft clinking sound. When I finally got to the airport, I counted the stones. 100. She looked at the judge with teary eyes. It took me 100 days to find my father. The courtroom erupted. Some clapped, some gasped. Even the judge wiped his glasses slowly. The man who saved Anna at the airport, now dressed in a sharp suit, standing beside Benedict, stepped forward. The judge nodded toward him. Are you the lawyer representing the Thompsons? He smiled. Yes, Your Honor. And proudly so, because I didn't just meet a client at the airport that day. I met courage in the form of a little girl. He turned to Anna. She saved her father and reminded the world what love looks like. Flashbulbs from reporters went off. Cameras rolled. Everyone whispered the same name. Anna. The girl who didn't give up. The verdict. The judge rose. This court has heard enough. He turned to Pamela, who looked like a shadow of her former self. For betrayal, premeditated harm, and attempted murder, Pamela is hereby sentenced to life. He paused. Life improvement behind bars. May you use your remaining days to reflect on the evil you did. Pamela broke into sobs. No one moved to comfort her. Outside the court. Anna and her father walked down the steps of the courthouse. Paparazzi followed. Children waved. People pointed. It's her! That's the girl who saved her father. Someone shouted, Anna for president. But Anna just smiled. She clutched her stone bag, still dusty, still heavy. Benedict wrapped an arm around Anna. Thank you for not giving up on me, he said. Anna looked up at him, smiling with tears. You're my father, a loving one at that. You have no idea how much I missed you. Benedict placed a kiss on her forehead. Besties! Wasn't that such a touching and powerful story? There's a big lesson here. Never give up, even when no one believes in you. Even if the journey takes 100 days or longer, just keep moving forward. Because your courage, like Anna's, can bring light to hidden truths and heal broken hearts. Moral lesson? Love is powerful. Determination is beautiful. And no matter how dark it gets, there's always a new day waiting to be claimed. So besties, if this story moved you or taught you something new, please comment your thoughts below in your language. I love reading every single one of them. Don't forget to like, share, and most importantly, subscribe to this channel for more powerful stories like this. I appreciate you all deeply. I love you so much, and may God bless you richly. Until next time, besties, stay kind, stay strong, and keep believing.